What's going on, everyone? Scott here. Welcome back to the channel. So Survivor Season 48, Episode 11 is here. Down to the final 7. Could be an interesting time to make a move if there's one to be had. Look back at last season, Operation Italy at the final 7. That amazing episode and amazing move happened at the final 7. Could we see something like that here tonight? But now, are the numbers too tight? Did they wait too long to get this loyal group of 4 to 6? I mean, really a core 4 plus the 6 with Camilla and Mitch added on as well, really leaving Mary on the outs. But people are interested in possibly making moves. But is it too late now? Are the numbers too tight to make a move? Well, let's see. But first, before you jump in, if you could, just hit that like and subscribe button down there. More Survivor content on the channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a video. So back at camp, after Star went home at the tribal council, they congratulate each other for making the final 7. Mary says, well, really, only congratulations to me because I was the only other one with their name written down. Mary says that everyone she gets close with gets voted out. She pitches an idea to Camilla to keep her around to use to get Eva and or Joe out. Camilla says, we have to convince Kyle and Shaheen though. Camilla is like, it makes sense. Mitch says he wishes that Joe would go home next. So Mary pitches her plan to Mitch as well to get out Joe and Eva. So, hey, laying the groundwork here. Mitch says that we all see the writing on the wall, that Joe has been dominating this game and knows that they need to convince Kyle or Shaheen to flip. But I mean, Kyle, really, obviously, we know this as viewers, but he's been kind of playing the middle of this game with Camilla being his number 1. And Mitch says they need to make a move now or Joe will run away with this season. I want to say, and obviously hindsight's 2020, we're viewers, there's been opportunities to make moves and to flip. Even last week there was opportunities, and obviously Joe, it couldn't have been last week because he won immunity, but there's been opportunities to move against this alliance. Obviously they did a little while back getting David out when it was a strong 5-ish that turned into a 6 with Mary, but Mitch didn't trust the people last week, and I can't say I don't blame him, but at the end of the day, you have to make moves in this game to continue to move forward and in order to win this game at the end. And so, are the opportunities lost? I respect Joe saying that, this is what he would want his kids to do in terms of choosing the hardest path to get to the end and win, in terms of his opinion, going to the end with the strongest players. Kyle is debating if he can beat Joe in the end and starting to think about scenarios of possibly turning on him. Mary pitches Kyle her idea. Kyle agrees that it probably is the last clean-cut shot to make a move at Joe. He knows that Joe is probably the front runner right now, but it is very difficult to make a move against Joe because of how emotionally connected they have got out here. But as he said, he's thinking about it at any downtime he gets out here in this game. And Mary's swinging away at coconuts, chopping them up with the machete and getting out some of her anger. However, apparently that was the last coconut that they had, and Eva's kind of like, hey, do we need to do that? And that was our last coconut. And Mary kind of just lays it all out there like, well, there'll be rewards. You'll get picked for a reward. I won't get picked for a reward. And it's like, well, is she wrong? But still probably not the best way to go. Camilla is like, well, no one's going to want to make a move and work with you that Mary is pitching when you don't know proper coconut etiquette. Obviously, remember the banana etiquette back in Heroes vs. Villains, Season 20? But anyway, Kyle and Camilla debate if Kyle flips, would Mary actually go with them? So still seems to not be complete trust in Mary to actually make this move that she's pitching. Kyle has played the middle of the game perfectly, but doesn't know if he betrays them, doesn't know if he gets their vote at the end. But talking with Camilla, who's his number 1 and is the one person he feels that he's being real with out here. He knows that he's either hurting Camilla or Joe and Eva and Shaheen, either this vote or next vote, possibly, depending on how things shake out. Getting away from some of the craziness, though, and tough decisions, Kyle, Shaheen, and Mitch go snorkel and fish. Boat shows up. One person must go for a journey. Multiple people want to go, so they end up drawing rocks. Eva gets the purple rock and is going on the journey. Complicates some things, as Kyle says. Race to stack tiles in a circle. You can only use your foot to spin the stand as you're standing on a perch or a stand. If you complete all 8 levels of this challenge, you get a knowledge is power. If you have at least 4 levels completed when the timer runs out, you get to keep your vote. If not, you lose your vote. She gets to the 4th level, debates stopping, but wants more power, so she starts to go for 8, but then she decides better of it and decides to keep her vote there just at the 4 levels. She gets back, tells the truth, basically says, glad it was me because y'all would have used this to steal my advantages, basically, because everyone knows that she has advantages, she has an idol, and Joe's even like, well, she didn't lie, she just came out and said everything. So, I mean, but she didn't lie. So, Mary makes her pitch to Shaheen. He says the problem is the advantages that they have. And Shaheen understands that Joe's the favorite at this point, but he feels like that Shaheen does. He feels like he's played a better game than Joe to this point. And there's no reward for out-loyaled in this game. It's outwit, outplay, outlast. So, which is a fairly good point, really not just for this moment, but you can say that for this whole season. And I think when we look back on this season, potentially that could be something that we look at in a line that we look back at. Shaheen wants to keep it quiet, though, because any win, it's game over in terms of obviously Joe's closest ally, Eva, possibly playing a idol or some type of advantage for him. So his debate to go with the easy vote in Mary or go with the big flashy move and be in complete control of this game, which as he says is a scary place. That's the debate he currently has right now. Immunity challenge time, sushi, chicken teriyaki, chocolate cake back at camp as well for the winner. Guaranteed spot in the final 6. Camilla beats out Joe. Kyle was in the mix as well. Shaheen had a lead at one point as well. And wow, that was absolutely incredible. Close challenge. And Joe actually did complete it about 2 seconds sooner than Camilla did. Camilla had it before, but then dropped as it was the last piece or two. But then she was able to build it back up. Joe was able to build his up as well, but one of his pieces was flipped. The eye was on the wrong color side, so they didn't match directly as both sides had to match. Camilla's did match on both sides, so that's why Camilla ended up winning the challenge. And as I said, one of the best challenges of this season, especially how with the potential of a move happening and that person who the move could possibly be about, be involved in it, and the back and forth of multiple people involved in this challenge that had a shot to win it. Really, really good challenge. Camilla chooses Mitch and Eva to go on the reward with her. The table is set to make a move. Camilla didn't want to pick Kyle, so people don't know that they're close in this game and wants to keep them comfortable in terms of Eva if they want to make a move on Joe and Eva in getting Joe out. And Eva says, it's I'm comfortable with this 6, and she's going to play the idol at the last chance she can. And even if she has the immunity, she'll play it for Joe because she's obviously everyone knows that we're close in this game and it worked together. So, is this the right time to do it? Is basically kind of the question coming up about getting out Joe. You might not have another shot in this game to get out Joe. So Joe's plan is don't panic, just vote Mary out tonight. He knows that there's always a chance of something weird or someone in the alliance flipping. Camilla and Kyle talk, and Kyle actually tells Camilla that he's a lawyer, not a teacher, and that kind of cements it for him that, because she says she doesn't care, still wants one of them at the final 3. And it gives Kyle a clear head that, that it's clear that she is his number 1. And they debate, it's scary keeping Mary around another day, but they both know that they will turn on Joe. It's just a matter of when. My only concern is there going to be another opportunity if they want to make this move? Mary says she's going to cause some chaos, tells Joe that she's going to write his name down. He feels a little unsettled, but Joe says to Kyle and Mitch, if she has an idol and, she plays it, he's going home. If she throws that one vote on him, talk about, or throw another vote on someone, but it's who are we going to throw it on? They all really don't believe that she has anything. Joe's no one would be this calm if it was their name, though. And Shaheen is I had people write my name down twice. And, with Joe being this paranoid, that one person is going to write down his name, maybe that means he would flip. So Shaheen is possibly debating writing down Joe as well. Wild card here, though, I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier, what if Eva plays an advantage or an idol for Joe, obviously being her closest ally out here? And Kyle knows that if Joe goes, he could be a front runner in this game, but doesn't know if he can betray that trust and if this is the time to make the big move. At Tribal Council, they all talk about what they sacrificed to be out here. Conversations then begin about, we got to do what's best for, my game, what's best for your game. But Eva says it's not about what's best for me, it's about what's best for, us, because she says there's no way for me to get to the end without trusting my group. But obviously, as Camilla basically says that, not everyone's in that group. So obviously Eva, feels good in her group of 4 that she has. But obviously, not every one of these 7 people are even in that group of 4. And even in that group of 4, there's, as with any big group alliance, there probably is a pecking order of things that, you can maybe probably pick up on. You can probably pick up on it from the TV easier than you can out on the beach, but, obviously that's another story. But they also talk about timing, when's the right time. They do vote, no advantage is played, and Mary goes home. So, wow, kind of surprising, weird moment as David stands up on the jury, just kind of stands there, and I didn't know what he was doing. If he was mad, if he was, well, I know I saw some people on Twitter talking about like if he was like just showing respect to Mary, or what as she went home, went out. I don't know. It was a very weird, it was a very weird moment. Don't even know what was going on. And then the move itself, it still makes zero sense. Again, I'm not out there. I don't, we don't have all the information here, but bird's eye view does not make any sense. Next week, Shaheen flipped is what Kyle is trying to pitch to Joe, it looks like. Even though Shaheen did right Mary, so could be trying to put Shaheen and Joe against each other, cause some chaos. Kyle could be Camilla and Kyle talk about keeping up their acting. Joe possibly thinking that something isn't adding up, and him and Shaheen possibly disagreeing, possibly stemming from Kyle telling Shaheen that, or telling Joe, should I say, that Shaheen flipped. Camilla tells Joe that he showed me some beads. Could that possibly be about Shaheen? And Joe's like, something's cooking, but by who? So, kind of looking through some of those clips, it kind of seems like possibly Camilla and Kyle are possibly cooking up a rift between Shaheen and Joe to possibly get them going after each other and kind of maybe keep their hands clean, but kind of orchestrating stuff from behind the scenes. I don't know. I'm excited to see it as we're, only a couple episodes away here from the finale. But really, just to close this one out, I just really don't understand the not making a move here. I know, as I said before, we're not out on that island. We're not, privy to all the information that's going on. And obviously, you got to make the best decision out there. But bird's eye view, again, kind of the same thing said about Mitch the last episode and, whatnot. Even if you don't trust these people, at the end of the day, you got to make a move to win this game. And I really hope, I made no secrets about it. Like, my favorites in this game are Camilla and Kyle. I hope one of them win it. And I truly do. I really, really like all of the players on this season of Survivor. I love Eva. I love Joe. I love Shaheen as well. I like Mitch. But I like Camilla and Kyle the best. I hope one of them win it. But I also think they're playing the best game because they're playing Survivor. There's nothing wrong with wanting to play a loyal game like Joe and Eva has been playing. You can say Shaheen to a degree, but I think there is some scheming in Shaheen's game. He just maybe hasn't really had to use it to this point. Camilla and Kyle, you've seen it throughout this season, the way they've manipulated through certain situations and stayed each other's number one with no one really knowing how close they are. Joe has dominated, and Eva as well, the physical part of this game, the relationship part of this game, having a big alliance that, they could be a part of. And, really in that alliance too, and Joe being a big guy, obviously good challenge person, having someone like David, another, big guy, challenge threat, whatever. And, same with Eva being an athletic, person who can go win challenges as well, with Kyle and Shaheen being in there as well. Being a part of a big group like that with a lot of different people that can, win immunity challenges or, that kind of stuff, kind of shield them for a little bit. So it's like, hey, this, kind of getting down to the end here, it's like, could someone take a shot at them? I feel like that was maybe the shot, but I am curious with the preview for next week. Is Kyle and Camilla, kind of, orchestrating something else to try to keep the blood off their hands? Because as I kind of said it either last recap or 2 recaps ago, I think this is going to be, I think it was when David went home, or the first week after David went home, should I say, when he was on the jury. I think this is going to be a very bitter jury either way. So I think trying to keep your hands as clean as possible, it is probably the move here, and that could be the reasons for some decisions. So anyway, yeah, that'll do it for this one. We'll be back next week, obviously, with another recap as we close in, I think 2 more episodes till the finale. So coming down to the end of it here as we head into the final 6. But anyway, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.